Artsies, this is Mrs. B. Welcome to Umaarteng Penmanship. In this video, I will be teaching you the difference of watercolor paint brush and water brush. I create calligraphy tutorials, so if you like those kinds of videos, you can subscribe to my channel. Every Wednesdays, we have this series, right? Wednesdays. You can see me doing calligraphy real time. And also every Fridays, we have tutorials. So you can subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you would be updated with my latest uploads. Alright, so let's talk about these brushes and let's start. So this is follow-up on my previous tutorials. If you haven't seen my previous videos yet about the introduction of the watercolor calligraphy and also the video about different techniques in watercolor calligraphy, now we will be talking about brushes. Okay, so I have here 3 different brushes. I have here, first one is the watercolor brush. Okay, so I bought it in Shopee for 3 sizes: small, medium, and large. This one is the small. Okay, I'm not using the medium size and the large size because this one is already big enough for my artworks. Okay, this is flexible and has pointed tip, so it's really good for watercolor calligraphy. Also, you can put water in it. So if, for example, you are traveling and you want to paint, you do not have access for a cup of water, you could use this. Okay, this is good. Just remember to unscrew it and clean it as much as possible after, or else there would be paint going in here and it takes time to clean it. Okay, next one would be our watercolor brushes. Okay, if we are using watercolor, remember to use proper brushes. This one is for watercolor because it's water brush. So these are my watercolor brushes that I'm using. I used this before but not too much. This is a student grade round brush that we have, size 8. Okay, and this one is size 2. Well, the sizes of the brushes are different. It varies on different brands, but it's fine. Okay, for choosing the brushes for the watercolor calligraphy, it is better to use a pointed tip, but not too pointy like this one. I'm not comfortable in using this for my calligraphy, but sometimes I still use it because it makes my thin upstrokes really good, like a thin hair. Okay, I'm using this, but I used this before, but not so much for calligraphy. I had a small student grade small brush before, but I cannot find it anymore. But now let's talk about the difference. Okay, first, okay, aside from the watercolor brush that I mentioned earlier, for these brushes, well, it is good for painting as well. I use this mainly for painting, but I use this also for calligraphy. If you are a big writer, or if you write big, you could use bigger sizes of brush. Okay, let's start with this brushes. Let's move it here. This is very handy and easy to use. I use it a lot for my watercolor calligraphy. Okay, these ones are not. I use this for painting basically. For this one, not too much. Okay, my son uses this. Okay, so let me try using this watercolor brush or paintbrush. Okay, so for this one, if you can make your thin upstrokes really thin like that, if you use the tip of the brush, okay, let me try it again. Okay, there, let me put it closer. It's very thin because of the tip of the brush. Okay, for downstroke, you really have to be careful with this. Do not press too hard like what we do on the brush pens, or else it will give you very thick stroke like that, and we do not want to do that unless if you are doing big letters, that would be fine. But if you are doing small letters, it's not good to see. So a little pressure is good enough there, or can hold it a little closer to the ferrule. This is the ferrule. It holds the brush. Okay, make it thicker there, like when we do an overturn here. Okay, you could see how thin is the upstroke here. It's very thin, like a hair strand. Okay, that's what I like in this brush. Okay, let me try to use this one. Okay, so when it's wet, it becomes like that pointy tip. Let's get watercolor paint here. Okay, so when you have a thin line, let's try upstroke. Okay, and downstroke. Or let's try to make it a little more. Okay, there. Alright, with these brushes, you need to put it somewhere safe if you are going to travel, but remember to use a brush stand like this. Okay, so you can rest your brush while you are using different brush, or while you're letting it wet or letting it dry, I mean. So there. Now we will be using the water brush. Okay, for this one, it's flexible as well. It has pointy tip. So if your watercolor is dry, you can just press this to release water. Okay, let's try to get paint. Let me get the glue here. Okay, when you do the upstroke, let's see. Okay, or let's try it again. Thinner and downstroke. If you press heavier, it can make that heavy. Alright, I like this for calligraphy. I do not use this for painting because it seems like it has a limitation when it comes to painting. Like for example, I am making leaf. Okay, when I make leaf with this brush, that is the thickest line that I can get. Okay, so I have to make it like 2 or 3. If I want it bigger, I have to make it layers like in 3 times or 5 times to make it big. Okay, and like for example, I be using this pointed brush. Let's see. Okay, it's actually thicker than the water brush, but I do not have only size 2 with this. I also use different sizes for this brush to make it a little bigger. Okay, let's try this one. Okay, let's see. Let's try it again with a different color. Okay, there. That is the thickest that it can get. There. Because I like painting flowers and leaves, and if I am using the water brush, it gives me a limit. I have to try it again several times in layers to make a good leaf than the paintbrush. So I'm using different size or bigger size for this paintbrush for doing leaves, but for calligraphy it's also good to use. That's it.